Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are reacting to the male loneliness epidemic by Shoe0nHead.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones.
It's finally over from 5'5" to 6 feet? Damn, I didn't even realize this was a thing. That's crazy. Oh my god. Like this seems like really dangerous too. Like don't do this shit.
To be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking,
yeah, that's very true.
Oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by Shoe0nHead.
Pretty much.
Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else.
No, literally anything else. Like everyone is just like hating men. I mean, that sounds very, very dramatic. I know, but it's just like we can't even have like a hot woman in a video game like Emma Frost without people just like freaking out about it because of like the male gaze or something. It's like, calm down. You people are also the people that like are so pro like sex workers and like IRL streamers that are like very, what's the word, sexual, I guess. It's such a joke.
Men are in a crisis, and it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Before she's gonna try to sell some shit.
Today's sponsor is Holtzkern. Holtzkern is
a
a
nice
young
look for
Austrian
her.
company that designs unique crafted watches and
that
jewelry
looks cool.
made from all natural materials. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall I just think they look very
they do look
classy,
really nice.
especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the
I wonder how much
Naturalist
they are.
watch, which made for a great gift
Might
for
look-
my boyfriend. He
might look
especially
into
loved
this
the casual yet
afterwards.
stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out. It's made from black and white
cute.
marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that
nice.
just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings,
they're not
very unique
not too bad, the
handbags,
price.
sunglasses, and necklaces, like this rose marble
that's
elevation
cute.
necklace. It makes a really memorable and unique gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering
some of them are
online is
definitely
super easy with
pretty
free
pricey.
shipping to the US and most EU countries within 2 to
Yeah.
5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out their store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique
wonder if
piece
that
of nature.
Shoe
Thank you,
15
Holtzkern,
still
for
works
sponsoring
now.
this video, and thank you, the viewer, as always, for not skipping the ad.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women and children, too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030.
Damn, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised it's only 45% at this point, because I feel like all women do on Twitter is just like complain about men and make it seem like men are causing like all of their life problems. And yeah, it just seems like men and women are just like on completely different like planets nowadays. So I'm actually surprised that it's not higher than 45%.
2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing.
Of course.
The she-economy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single...
Yeah, speaking of the she economy, I read a stat like a few weeks ago, which I'll try to like link it in the description if I can find it, but it's basically saying that like a single woman that earns like more than 6 figures spends more on average than like the average family of 4, and they spend it on like clothes, like makeup, traveling, and I'm like, that's actually fucking ridiculous.
Single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, man, stop listening to that derogatory music.
Derogatory music, like rap music.
Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and
For real.
women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from
Trust me.
individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness.
You know, I would think that like a shift to urbanization would make people less lonely because you're like out walking around. But I actually used to live in a very populated city, and like I actually didn't make like any new friends when I lived there. I lived there for a few years. Like everyone pretty much just like goes to work, then like goes back into their like little apartment, or at least that's what I did. I'm sure other people were out there like doing things and making friends, but I actually found it like pretty isolating after a while.
In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right? I don't care. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact. And
This would make me like hate eye contact more. What?
to reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, 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 buy a new microphone, and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my
Also, malls just like suck now. Like, and they're, I don't know, I feel like they've gotten like way trashier in the last like 10 years. I don't know.
I need from Twitter and streamers. Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I could just tap, 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 Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5.
Oh my god.
Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're
It's so over. It's so
Dating
over.
apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies, at least for now.
You know, I think dating apps have kind of like broken women's brains too, not just men's. Because like she just said, women are really picky. So I think it makes women seem like they have all of these options because like literally they do have a lot of options on the dating apps, but I think a lot of the matches are just like interested in casual things and like not a relationship, and it kind of like skews their like perception of really like how many options for a real relationship there are. And then as far as it breaking men's brains, I don't know. I think it can make them feel probably like worse about themselves actually, because I've like seen other stats that like it's really hard for like men to get a match on a dating app, but like super easy for women. So maybe it could kind of like lead to them like feeling like worse about themselves. I don't think they get the same, you know, the same experience of having just like all of these matches. I'm sure some men do, but I just think like on average, you know.
On dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane.
Yeah, this is like what I was just talking about. So how men rate women. So it's like, yeah, so it's like kind of like a nice bell curve, but then how women rate men, like most of them are least attractive and 0% are most attractive. Like we're so cooked as a society.
It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships. Looking at
yeah, and I wonder if that is kind of due to like the urbanization, and it's like once you graduate like high school and college, it's like everyone moves to like different parts of the country and gets like some like job that becomes like their whole like life. I feel like that has something to do with it.
Statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe
being
a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right.
Wow. So so is the red men and the blue is women, or am I reading this wrong?
And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdem, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces for not doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, you know, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
Well, that's like true. I think the right does talk to them, but it's like why is everything fucking fascism with these people and Machiavellian desire? Like, shut the fuck up.
The responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie.
Say it for real.
LMAO, cry about it. Boo
Oh my god.
who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems.
Oh my god.
Boo who? Grow the up then. Have
my
men
god.
considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem. Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now? Maybe men are just not good people.
Oh, fuck
then.
off.
I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal
It is a huge societal problem.
Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings. Grow the
My god, no compassion from any of these. I'm guessing it's like women and male feminists right now.
Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left
Entitled little predators? What? We're just talking about like most men in general, and it's like seriously, this is so fucked up.
for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging.
Oh,
it's
they're
them.
definitely...
It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps.
You know, whenever someone like ends a tweet with "hope this helps," I just immediately am like, fuck that person. Seriously.
Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid. LOL. Cry harder, losers. 90%
Male
of
feminist.
all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators. We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and rapists, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day? Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern,
Not doing too good.
and have bad skin. You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist. Because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously
Oh
ugly
my
and pathetic,
God.
but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain-dead advice? What if
What? What the Oh my god. Oh my god.
advice? Don't rape? Don't be a rapist is bad advice?
You're acting like they're acting like all men are this like R word though. Like this whole tweet was about like men in general, and all of these like harpies on Twitter are just like automatically calling them like predators, like the R word. It's so fucked up.
Help, I have no friends or community. I feel suicidal. Have you considered not raping?
Yeah, it's like
I'm
they-
like a decent fucking human being. It's not hard. Is brain dead advice? Brain dead advice like get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people.
Oh my
Walking up to men
Oh
struggling
my god,
with
I'm
loneliness
literally
and
like
depression,
losing like brain cells like looking at these tweets.
Kids, don't be racist.
Incredible. Here's my actual advice I would give to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2. Save the planet. 3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of racist.
Wait, save the planet racist, or is get enthusiastic consent racist? I need a little bit more clarification on that one.
Like, what the is this? How does this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your
Seriously.
problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest beneficiaries of MRA shit. Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. Like, no f***ing shit. Let's be honest.
Seriously.
Aside from procreation purposes, men have become obsolete. Most women can find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And
Oh
speaking
my
as a man,
god.
most of us are hard to be
Oh
around.
my god.
And I don't blame any woman for just saying, no thanks.
Oh my god. These are the people in my last video that were complaining about Emma Frost.
Oh my god, dude. This is what every Just Pearly Things tweet looks like to me. Just with
True.
the gender swapped. This is pathetic. You know what fixes male loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out. You'll feel better. I promise.
No. Oh my god. I can't. It's like there is like no compassion. It's like they only like kind of see men as just like these like animals that are just like, oh, just like go do this. You'll feel better.
Yeah, guys, just beat one out. Just off. Just watch porn.
Yeah.
That man would be very disappointed in all of you.
That's
it's so
true.
funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you sexist
Who's
freak.
saying
When
that?
One side is like,
Who's saying that?
wanting a girlfriend is sexist entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened
Yeah,
to
like-
males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue. Oh, trust me. Men are still kicking
Oh
the
my
bucket.
God.
And when they're not giving mind-blowing advice like just to be a liberal, they're outright dismissing men's issues completely. It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created. Again, it's not women's jobs to change how men are socialized. It's a man issue and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves. Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why does the well-being of other people concern me?
Basically,
Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic
Basically.
issues and societal factors and blah 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 until it's a man and then suddenly it's Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
I know.
This problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. Solve your own.
Wait, so how is this problem a consequence of the patriarchy? Like, I don't understand.
Problems and leave women alone. These
such
people
bullshit.
rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until the subject is a man, and then it's
Yeah.
bootstraps all the way down.
Yeah, basically.
They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild.
It's insane.
Both
I know.
sides are telling men to pull
No, and then
themselves up.
like the leftists are like, why don't they vote for us? It's because of this shit. Because all they do is complain about men, and when men have problems, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
By their bootstraps. But one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like, fuck off. And when they're not telling men to straight up fuck off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro. And I'm not dismissing this problem, okay? I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying at your grandfather's funeral? Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this? Fellas, is it woke to open up to your fellow men and discuss history?
Oh my
Men are
God.
socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays?
For
You have to
real.
be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men.
Yeah.
Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is all relatively a new phenomenon. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural
Yeah, I
embrace-
think there's way like less than like ever. Like I feel like, you know, the corporate like workforce is like like more feminine now than it's like ever freaking been.
of like gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s, but social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all
Yeah.
happened recently. Oh my god, the privileged life these poor little boys must have.
Yeah,
They're
it's like men, but I mean like also like women too. Like we're told we have to like go to college to like get some like fancy corporate job, and then you know a lot of people have to take on this like insane like debt, like maybe over like 100 grand, hopefully like not that much. It's like just crazy. And then like 18-year-olds make this decision not like realizing really how much their like payments are going to be on that, and like don't really understand how much they're actually going to be like making on like a monthly basis. And then it's like so hard to like save money, but on top of that like the cost of like renting is astronomical, so like then it's even harder to save money. And then on top of that, all of like the houses, like that cost of housing is insane now. So it's like, how do men like get ahead? And then at the same time, like women have like, I feel like higher expectations than ever. They want like a 6'5" Chad that makes like 200,000 a year, that like owns his like own house already. And it's like, how can most men do that when everything is like stacked against them? Sorry for my rant.
biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing.
No, but like that like distribution of like wealth, like it's still like a big problem. The loneliness is like also a problem.
Security. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal. Wah. Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant. Men have been dropping out of college like flies. And what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high. rate.
Wow.
In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not
The
the
fuck is
hashtag
this?
online left does enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in
off.
America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder.
Okay.
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling
You
people
know, there is a ton of people that are getting a bunch of stuff they don't deserve right now.
they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have.
But
That's
it's
gonna
not just like men overall.
be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a
Great.
65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like,
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
Yeah,
don't
I
get me
know.
wrong.
And then wonder why
Republicans
no one
will
likes
not do
them.
shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit. to
I think
help
she's
any
right,
of this.
unfortunately.
But the right is at least rhetorically offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this Discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine
Good
role
luck.
models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal.
It's like, how are you gonna get a leftist Andrew Tate when like the leftist movement is about hating men? Like, it doesn't fucking work.
to men, because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies, and men are oppressors.
Apparently.
Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good pro-men lefty content, and I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
Oh
But
my
the
God.
issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around, how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the
Well,
left...
I think that is a lot of like what the left has become. It's like they want to like acquire voters and use them. I mean, of course the right wants to do that too, but I mean, I think it's clear that like one side has a lot more useful idiots than the other one.
more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers in the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh, y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans
Of
men.
course.
Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the
Yeah,
rhetoric just, like,
basically.
evolved overnight, from male tears to cis male tears. And I just have to ask, why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
It's a good question.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community.
You know, I feel bad for this person.
And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why.
I don't know, it's like you can't even talk about like his own feelings without having to be like, oh, but these other groups are also like valid. It's like
The suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how even when he's experiencing the issues of being a man, he's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately. Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is, a lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose? No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems, but he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years. And even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. I guess I'll leave you guys with a question. Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.
That one was pretty serious, but hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
All just people on a floating rock paying taxes to pedophiles at the end of the day.
True.